Hey guys, I just got back. It's like 1:30 in the morning. I turned on my room light for my fish room. It's something I normally would never ever normally do. But this is my kyburzi Tetra tank. You guys have seen this in other videos when we talked about botanicals, and you've seen it when we made the DIY make your own blackwater extract. And we did a video highlight on the kyburzi Tetras, also known as the measles Tetra. And I told you guys about this fish. It's a pretty unique characin, but it's also a pretty aggressive characin. It's trying to find any sort of other tank mates that are going to take in some of the different stratas within the tank, the lower quadrants and stuff. It's been a bit of a challenge. I'm not a big fan of festivums, and I'm not a big fan of severums. It's just personal choice, teach his own. But I did have to find something that wasn't going to be too aggressive for them, something that could be in the bottom. And today, at the DFO auction up here in Winnipeg, I think I found something pretty cool. At least to me. I like it. You don't like it? I don't care if you don't like it. I like it. My fish, my tank. I can put what I want in my tank. So I got this cool bag of fish here. Pretty cool. I told you, some sort of a Cara or something like that. Cyclosoma dimeris. So I'm gonna get these guys dripping because my water in this tank is soft water. So it's pretty much straight RO water with a little bit of buffer. It's got some black water and stuff in it. And these guys are coming from my buddy Spencer Jack's warehouse, which is the Aficionados in Manitoba. He's known Canada-wide for shipping some really quality fish. And these fish actually came all the way from Lakeland, Florida, from our good friends at Imperial Tropicals, Mr. Mike Droddy. So these are pretty cool fish. They got lots of color, subtle coloration. It's not in your face like a Malawi peacock or anything, but it's got a lot of subtle coloration. Let's get these guys dripping for a bit. Get them in this tank. Maybe I'll show you. I'll put one in my hand and show you guys what they look like. I think these will be a really cool addition to this blackwater tank. Now we got these guys dripping. I got my airline hose running from my tank into my bucket. I got the fish in the bucket here on the ground and stuff like that, but just can't get an idea. I know what my water chemistry is like. I deal with it all the time. I've been dealing with it for a long time, so I'm pretty confident with it. But I do like to give it a quick check. Now I do have the full heavy-duty test kit and stuff where I can test everything down, very specific and stuff like that. But honestly, I love using these little test strips and stuff like that. I know people talk about that they grade in time and stuff like that. To get a basic pH reading and basic hardness rating, which is the only thing that's really important to me for here right now, these things work pretty good. So here's tank water. I can compare that one. It's probably going to be pretty drastically different than my bucket water. It is. And the bucket water is through the roof in general hardness. Pretty through the roof in carbonate hardness. pH is not bad. pH is sitting about 7.5. So that works. That's okay. I can work with that. pH being neutral is good for RO water because their RO water comes out pretty neutral. So now when I look at, because this is also a good way of checking my RO unit, make sure my RO unit's functioning at a good rate and stuff like that. And I look at it, my GH is almost nothing. And my carbonate hardness, sitting about 40, it's nothing. It's easy. And my pH is sitting about 6. Now 6 to 7 is not 1 degree, it's 10 degrees. So that's the one thing that's going to be a hell of a lot more shocking than the hardness. Changing that pH down a little bit by doing this drip for half an hour or so is the one thing that's going to make all the difference in the world because it's parts of hydrogen. So let's just take a few minutes to drip, and then we'll see what these guys look like. Now, one of the other things that I was getting at this auction, that I wasn't prepared to get for this auction, but I came home with a really cool wild live bear. I like live bears because they go well with a lot of some of the different Central American cichlids that I have, and I like using them as dither fish as long as I choose the right one and put them in with the right fish. But I haven't shown you guys the plant tank since we moved it. It used to be over here behind me and stuff like that. It was running full CO2, high-end lighting, everything like that. And I wanted to reconfigure the room around a little bit to make my desk fit in the little alcove, and we had to move this tank over here. And it's been here for almost a month, maybe just over a month, and it has not done well. I've had nothing but algae issues. dealing with well water and stuff like that out here, even making my RO unit, I still get a bit of the phosphate runoff that comes in the springtime, which causes these algae blooms. And I've been having a bit of an issue with algae in this tank, so I haven't really shown you guys. So the tank's not heated. I don't like heating any of my planted tanks. I tend to choose the fish that I want to put in these tanks a little bit more cautiously. But the only fish that are in here were about a month ago I added 6 of the Pandagera, Tetra, which is an Indian species that is a real good, it's related to the spawfish, and it actually is a very good algae eater. So I put that in there to kind of control that. But I thought when I found this little weird live bear at the meeting today, I thought, hey, this is something perfect for this tank as well. So I brought home a bag of, it's actually a Care species, and the species is called Xenotoca lion's eye tamazula, and it's a large, cool water live bear. I got 2 boys and 2 girls, and they're from a well-known breeder in my city, Mr. Kyle Neufeld. He's very well respected for the fish he keeps. He's a great hobbyist. And I've got one here. I got a female that's even gravid. It's a bit bigger of a live bear than your swords, your platies, your guppies. It's a wild-caught species. It's a natural species, but it's a bit more boisterous, a bit more aggressive in an average tank. So it's probably not the best community thing, but in a cool planted tank like this with lots of different things, these guys are also going to be awesome at controlling that algae in this tank. So I'm going to get these guys dripping as well because the water chemistry is pretty different. Cyclosoma dimeris is actually one of the true cyclosomas. When Cullender redid his revision back in 1988 to 89, it was and relegated only to a few species instead of the catch-all that it once was. This is one of the original ones. So Cyclosoma dimeris was actually described back in 1840 by Haeckel, and it hails from the Paraná River Basin in Paraguay, Brazil, Bolivia, and also the Paraná River in Argentina. I see that there's a lot of little split fins and stuff like that. At the auction, these guys were all put together in one bag, which was probably not the best idea. They've kind of beat each other up. But after a couple of days in here, they're nice hardy fish. After probably a week or so, they'll all be back to normal. They're eating fine already and doing just good. I think they'll do fine.